Hello and welcome back to the Skies Above the Reich playthrough. We finished the last video with a successful mission. We had downed all the bombers and we just have to do some basic cleanup, and I wanted to do a quick video to explain what happens once a campaign is over. So the first thing we do is we make sure our pilots have their experience, which they do. We have 4 experience. We downed 4 planes. It was 1 experience each. And no planes were destroyed. Had they been destroyed, we would have gotten 2 experience. Had a plane been shot down and survived, like the pilot bailed out and survived, he would have gotten experience. In fact, here's your chart. I don't need to explain it all. It's right here on your sheet. So we had 4 fallen bombers, so there's our 4 experience. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them were attributable to Grimm, who had to actually leave early. So we clean up some of our tokens here, take our guys off. The other thing that we need to do is we update our mission sheet. So this is the staff log, and we earned 4 experience because we had 4 fallen bombers, and that also equates to 4 victory points. And just a reminder, you look at the situation log. Okay, so this is the situation manual. On the back, it gives you how you score your victory points. We were an outbound mission. We're doing the basic game. 4 fallen bombers is 4 victory points. So the really good news here is we only need 5 to not lose. So we finished mission 1. We have 5 missions left to go. So we are in excellent shape towards surviving 1942. In fact, we might even be in a position where we might get a win on this scenario and not just surviving it. So we're on mission 2, 1942, and we take our escorts, put them back in the pile. So I have a pile of them somewhere. Oh, right here. And we reset our markers. So we'll be back to mission turn 1. Everything else is still undetermined. Reshuffle your decks. I'll do that later. I'm holding a phone in one hand, so that's difficult to do. Wanted to also mention that these videos take forever to upload to YouTube. So I was all gunning and raring to go last night to record more, and it took like 2 hours to upload one video. So anyways, this is going to be a slow trog here. Clean everything else off. So basically we're restarting. Everything gets refreshed. This is going to be a repeat of what you had already seen before. Okay, so we get out our sheet that says basic game on it. It looks like this, and we open it up to this page. Looks familiar. We're still in 1942. We're on mission 2 now, so I will just hurry up and get started here. So we need to determine what map we're using. I rolled a 4, so we're on the same exact map. In fact, only map 2 is available, so maps 3 and 4 are not available in 1942, and that is a very good thing. So you should be very thankful for that. They are very much more difficult maps. This map, when you play this game, I'm on my 2nd campaign right now. I've done 1. Actually, I've done 3. The first one I lost miserably, but I've done 1, and all I can tell you is that this map gets it's a beginner's map. Let's just put it that way. It's very simple, and I think I demonstrated that by destroying all 4 planes and surviving it. But I'm not always that lucky. This game has a lot of luck to it. And so anyways, let's keep going. That's an awful roll, a 1. So we are on an inbound mission. This is going to not be as easy as the last one. All right, so I'm taking out my sheet here. We're doing map 1. It's an inbound mission. So I'm just going to put IB. And then we determine how many points we have. A 2 would be very, very bad. And guess what I rolled? So we have 2 operational points. And then we do the escort roll. Also a bad roll. L7S. Okay, the S means Spitfires. So I'm going to shuffle them. Just pick 2 that are out. The other 5 are in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 1 somewhere else on this board. Oh, he's over here. We'll just use him. 5. So those will go over there. The 7 means that, so this is an inbound mission. So the escorts are going to exit on turn 7. So the escorts will be with the bombers from the start all the way up until turn 7. So this is already a much harder mission. And we only have 2 operational points. Again, since it's 1942, the only thing you can spend them on is the BF-109. All this other fun stuff doesn't happen in 1942. So the cool thing is you get sort of your feet wet in the game, and then things get introduced to you, and you get more and more variety. So your interest stays in the game, even though it's the same mechanics over and over again. That part I really like about this game. Okay, so we're done with this sheet. You can put it away. Then we get out that situation manual we were talking about. This guy, we are on map 1 inbound. It's page 1. So we flip to page 1. We can put our bonuses back on the board because we figured out we're using this map. Okay, so it's possible other fighters have already tried to intercept them, or there was just some flak as they're inbound. So we're rolling to see if there's any. Well, first of all, we got to roll to see which formation we're using. I rolled an even, so we're going to be on that formation again, up there, same one as the last mission. Okay, now I'm going to roll for damage. If I get another 8, that would be awesome. Oh, of course, I got a 2, but that's actually not bad. So 1 damage is better than a kick in the butt. So we'll grab a damage token, which is, so in this case, there's no number. So there's nothing to roll. So you just flip it over and it's 1 damage on him. Okay, and then we're gonna move down to anchored. There is no anchor in this formation. The sun, I rolled a 1. So the sun is high nose. I actually really like that one. That's the one time rolling a 1's a good outcome. And tactical points, I rolled a 2. So we get 1 tactical point. That's not very fun. And then the big one. We need a lot of turns here. Let's go. Big bucks, no whammies. 7 is 8 turns. So we're going to enjoy 1 and only 1 turn without escorts. Actually 2 turns, because the moment we get to turn 7, they leave. So we're going to enjoy turn 7 and turn 8. That's it, with no escorts. So this is going to be interesting. Okay, since the escorts are with us from the beginning, you can roll now. The rules say that you can roll now to figure out where they start. But I told you I like to do the variant where I don't do it until we get to the escort phase. So I'm going to do my move first, which means that my planes are going to be out there first. So I don't get to like see where they're at and just try to avoid them. It's a little bit more fun. It does make it harder. If you're having a hard time with this game, definitely roll now versus later. So with that being said, the setup is ready, and here's my bigger challenge. I have 2 operational points. I can only bring in 2 pilots. That by itself makes this hard, and I feel like I'm gonna bring in Grimm and Freeling. I'll just bring in those 2. I'm gonna bring in one that has a lot of experience. Should I? Nope, I'm gonna bring in the 2 that don't have experience. Let's try to get them some. Freeling and Bauer. This is probably a lost cause, so let's if I'm gonna lose a good fighter, if I'm gonna lose my fighters, I might as well lose the ones that don't have any experience. I do have an option to not even go with my experts. I could go with my veterans and try to get experience for one of these. That's a decent idea, but I'm gonna at least do those. Let's give it a try. Okay, I'm not gonna over AP that. So it's really simple. We just dive right in and go. So we are on move. Just a refresher, when they're off the map, move means I can come at low in any position. And so what I'm gonna do is the sun is there. I do not get, it's impossible for me to get swarm because you need 4 fighters. It is possible for me to get this. This is also possible. So I'm gonna shoot for this bonus here. I'm refusing to say the name because I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyways, I want to use the sun, but the sun is high. You have to come in low, and then it'll take 2 more turns to even get to high. So that's not the right way to play this game, in my opinion. The right way to play this game is you come in low somewhere else, like here, you attack, and then you do your maneuver to roll left, and then you arrive high. That's the way to get up there. So, so if that's where I want to be, then basically I try to come from a different direction first. So that's what I'm going to do. I could do the tail, but there's a reason you don't want to do tail, because the tail, if you're below trailing, remember, we don't know where these are, but if they are here, they can show up at tail low. So you want to avoid tail low when you have escorts. And so with that being said, I'm going to put both of these on oblique low, like that. And off we go. So no return. Now we do escort. I'm going to roll. See where the escort goes. It's a 5. So we are on a light escort. A 5 is 3 forward, 2 below trailing. So put 3 there and 2 there. And then we roll for the forwards. I rolled a 4. So this moves to above trailing. I'm going to roll for this one. I rolled a 9. So this is going to go to above trailing. So no escorts join the map. They're all just circling around, and that's fine. So that ends. We would do a cohesion check. The cohesion check makes you count the markers, but you have to roll less than the total markers. It's impossible to roll a 0, so you don't need to do a cohesion check when there's only 1 marker. So there is no attack, so we're done with turn 1. So we move up, mission turn 2. With mission turn 2, I'm going to move. We're going to attack right away. And now we do the escorts. Just to go through this real quick. We move. There's no return. We're going to do escort. There's going to be none of these, no cohesion, and then we'll resolve the attack. We're going to go a little quicker here. So this one, I rolled a 2, which is tail high. So he goes there. And then we go to the middle one. I rolled a 1. That is above trailing. So he's moving up there. And then the bottom one, I rolled an 8. He goes to above trailing. So they're all up there. Okay, so with all that done, we are now attacking. I'm coming in. I'm going to attack the already injured one from this direction. I'm going to make them evasive. Okay, they're both coming in low and evasive. So low, evasive, out of the sun doesn't happen. We already picked evasive. Now we do a collision check because they're both in the same space. Just a quick reminder, there is the element. This is a space, and these are boxes. Okay, so I'm drawing a collision marker, and I drew a proximity 2. So as long as I roll better than a 2, I'm okay. Now, since I did evade instead of determined, if I did determine, this marker would stay and be used for the next cohesion check, but I didn't do that, so this goes back to the box. All right, and we select our maneuvers and our advantage. So what I'm going to do with these guys is this one is going to climb and go towards the sun. And that one is going to dive and go straight through to the other oblique. I'm going to try to attack from two different flanks. So let's see how that turns out. Maybe it's a bad move, maybe it's not. We'll see. I may want to keep them together. No, you know what? I'm going to keep them together. There's only two of them. Let's keep them together. All right, so they're both going to roll left and climb to high altitude. We're going to go for the sun. We'll use it to our advantage. Okay, we now resolve the attack. So I'm coming in oblique. I'm going to draw two oblique cards, put them here. We calculate our threat level, which is a 1, and nothing changes that. So we resolve this. Right there's 1, and we're coming in low and evasive. So we get hit, the bomber does not get hit, and we progress 1. And I'm doing left to right there. So this guy right here gets hit. He is Bauer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my luck ability already. So Bauer has this luck skill. The luck ability says that I get to ignore 1 hit. So I'm going to do that. And then what I do is I just come over here and I put mission 2. And then I put an L, meaning he used his luck on mission 2. So that's just a reminder that I've already used it because I don't have a good memory. And he progresses 1, which means he moves into that kill zone over there. And that's it. He didn't do anything else. So remember I said the first mission we were getting really nice cards. This is what you usually get. Okay, next guy is a 1 low, and this time we do hit. And we don't get hit, and he also progresses 1. That's what that little 1 means. He means he moves 1 in the direction he was flying. Oh, I take it back. I moved these guys wrong. Since they're rolling left, they move 1 this way. So it's still the same value kill zone, so the outcome wouldn't be any different. But for those of you watching this for the rules, since I'm rolling left, that's the way they go, is left. Okay, so I did a damage, and that's the exciting part. Oh, back up, back up, back up. I just caught something that some of you might be screaming at your screen about. I forgot to give out advantages. We had a space with 2 fighters, so I had this bonus, which cancels a hit. So I'm going to use that instead of this. So right now, he has not used his luck. He may still use it before this turns over, but that's still a better situation. All right, so now I'm going to roll, get my damage here. Ooh, this is a good one. We have a 50% chance of downing him. Let's go, let's go. Perfect roll. Got a 10. All right, we got him. All right, so the damage goes away when that happens. And you put in a fallen, and that was Freeling. So Freeling gets 1 experience point for a fallen bomber. And this threat level here becomes a 1 because this -1 impacts everyone around him. Okay, so now that we're done with those, I draw 2 continuing fire cards. And you always do the event first. And we'll start with the guy left to right again. Engine sputter. If climbing or climb rolling after resolving continuing fire, spend 1 TP or exit. Okay, so his threat level is a 1, so he takes no damage. He is climb rolling, and you can see that there. So we have to use a tactical point, and I will. The only one we have. Or otherwise he would have exited the mission, and that would have been bad. So he returns to evasive return, and this goes back. So now we go to, oh, I drew 3 cards. Let me put one of these back. So now we do the next one. If dive rolling, skip. I'm not dive rolling. We are threat level 1. He's evasive, so no hit. And so they go there, put this in the box, put these away, and that finishes turn 2. Then we go to turn 3. There is no move. There is a return though. I'm gonna flip these back over and they're gonna return to there. And now we do escort. Okay, first thing we do is that escort has nobody to attack, so he returns to below trailing. And I just put him off to the side because that's his move for this turn. And we start with that one. I rolled a 4. He goes to the return box of tail high. Oh. Okay, so we have an interceptor that just nailed us. A return box of tail high. So that is bad. Or no, I'm sorry, tail high. This is nose high. Ooh, I got lucky, I got lucky, I got lucky. Okay, so the return box of tail high is way over there. Good thing I learned how to read. Okay, so now we're gonna do that one. I rolled a 10. He goes to below trailing. So he's gonna drop down. This one also appears there. Escorts are done. We got a little lucky there. These guys up in the high trailing are very dangerous because they can go to the box with the most or least fighters. And our mission's over the moment that happens. So we go through the rest. Now we have to do a cohesion check, but there's still only one marker. So there is no cohesion check to do. And there's no attack or anything. So now we go to the next turn, turn 4. We're gonna move to here, so we're getting ready. Now we have to deal with the escorts. This one has nobody to attack. He's returning. This is our magical roll. We don't wanna get high. I rolled a 1, which means they go to the forward station. So he moves there. And then we have one more guy to resolve. I rolled an 8. So that goes to above trailing. I don't like those guys at above trailing. So this guy comes in, I'll put him underneath and like that. And we are done with turn 4. We go to turn 5. Now some of you might be thinking, boy, there's just a lot of fiddly. I'm not gonna argue with that. The thing is when you get to the higher level missions, I'm gonna take a quick pause here to explain this. When you get to the higher level missions, look at the number of operational points you get. Really high numbers. So we currently have 2 operational points. So we're just fiddling around with just 2 dinky planes. When you get up to 16, you got some chaos going on here. There's planes flying everywhere. It gets just, this first season of 1942, like I said, it's a beginner one. You may almost at some point get to a point where you just, after you've done enough of these, you just take your average score and move on and start here instead. I don't know. But if you're not doing a video like I am, you can burn through this really fast. As you can see, sometimes on a turn, you're only doing 1 or 2 of these steps and then you're done. So it gets more fun when you get up into these higher numbers. A lot more going on. So don't want you to have that false impression about how the game is. But it is true for 1942. Okay, so here we are. We're on the new turn. I'm going to move, and we are attacking high. Then we got to do escorts. So we're going to start with the top. This still could be a very bad roll. A 1, that's what we needed. He goes forward. Now we go here. He rolled a 6, which is nose level. So he goes to the level nose. Close, but no cigar. And then 3. This one goes to tail low, which is back there. Okay, they're all done. I'm going to put him in his position. And now we go to cohesion. There's only one marker. Now we do attack. Okay, so with the attack, we pick our formation. And I'm going to attack this bomber up front. I'm going to do both of these determined. So they're coming in at high altitude. So you put 2 blue markers below them to remind yourself that they are at high altitude. I am doing determined. So that means I get, oh, hold on a second. Okay, so here's how the sun works. If you do determined, you have to roll a die if you get hit. On an even, the sun helps you. On an odd, the sun doesn't help you at all. And what the sun does is it cancels a hit. But if I do evasive, then the sun will help me 100%. So thinking about this some more, I'm going to do evasive with both of them. I want my pilots to stay alive this mission. I already scored a victory point. I'm very happy with my outcome for having only 2 fighters. I'm keeping them alive. So we get a -1 hit for both of these. We're going to get a -1 hit assuming that they survive the collision check. And we'll get a -1 hit because they both have luck, which we haven't used. So I'm going to be able to absorb 3 hits with these guys. And I know it's super ultra conservative, but it's the way I like to play this. I like keeping my guys alive. And I'm still scoring points. I'm still getting experience. I'll get those skills that let me do mega damage later. Okay, so with that being said, we do our collision check. And by the way, it's going to be always, unless I say otherwise, it's the guy on the left. Proximity 2. So I'm going to roll. I rolled a 3. That was close, but we still survived. It's not horseshoes or hand grenades yet. Select maneuvers. Okay, this is the more interesting one. So we learned that they can go to tail high. So I'm actually going to go to flank low again. Yes. So this one is going to climb towards that flank, and this one's going to dive to the other flank. So we're going to do a little bit of separation there. If you separate them, you want to make sure they're at different altitudes, because this guy here, if you're attacking from more than one altitude and position, you get a cancel a hit, which is the same exact thing as this. Now, the reason this one is probably a little better is because you don't have to do a collision check. With this one, you have to do a collision check in order to earn this, which we did. We earned it. So we have one, but the collision checks are always dangerous. Sometimes if you do collide, if that roll I just did failed, you do yet another roll after that, and there is no luck. You can't use luck to cancel it. There's some things that you can't avoid. And when your plane collides, it gets blown up and you don't even get a chance to bail. Your pilot is immediately killed. So there's some really, really bad things that can happen with collisions. But that's all part of the game. So anyways, we did our maneuvers. We checked for advantage. We have one advantage. We got this one, which is, reminder, it cancels a hit. And now we do our attacks. So they're both coming in from the nose at high. So I'm going to draw 2 nose cards. We're going to do left to right again. The threat level is 1. And off we go. So threat level 1, high, evade, we take a hit. So the good news is I have the sun. The sun cancels that hit. So I don't have to use my luck skill. I still have it. And then the other thing that we notice is that it moves 2. So since he was roll climbing, he moves 2 this way. So he goes 1, 2, like that. This is a threat level of 1. And that's where he ends. He did not damage the bomber. So now we do the next one. We're going to nose attack high. He gets a 2 progress. See that C? That means a collision with the bomber. That is not good. I'm really glad I went evasive. So collision with the bomber, he does not get hit, and he does the damage to the bomber, which is excellent. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and there's a 1 there, so he's gonna have a threat level of 1 as well. But let's get our damage out. You like the damage. Okay, so we clip the wing, and if we roll a 9, it'll be a serious clip. We did not, so we flip it over. We did 3 damage to that bomber. Okay, so that's the attack. Now I'm going to draw 2 continuing fire cards. We'll start with the guy down below. He has an event, confused. If green pilot, we're not green, so we can ignore it. He is evasive, so he takes a hit. So this guy will now use his luck. It is Freeling. So we come over here to Freeling and mission 2, luck. All right, so I made the same mistake I made last time. I'm canceling that. I have this. Sorry about that. I'm just being brain dead when it comes to that. Okay, next one. So this goes away. Next guy is friendly fire. Okay, so we're gonna roll, and let's just roll. So I rolled a 5. It's an odd. If it was even, I would have damaged the bomber, or the friendly fire would have damaged the bomber, but it's odd, so we skip. It's meaning we don't resolve this outcome, even though it would have been fine. We break away now. So this guy broke away to evasive return high in the flank. And the other guy returned low, evasive return low in the other flank. And then these blue go off the board. So we got 1 guy low, 1 guy high, and I'm going to remove the sun marker here. No more sun, helping him. That's the end of the turn. So now we're on turn 6. Okay, and